What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick up Hubbard? Well, find your crimes or make it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Well, you asked for the camera. Yeah, come on. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Hi. It's Bunky at bedtime, and you can see I need some sleep. I'm desperately tired from having just a crazy weekend, which was primarily spent putting together things for future streams here. And I've been recording like another 27 hours worth of footage that I've captured and started to upgrade and get that ready. Unstoppable SP is here and saying, hi, Mr. Bunker. Hi to you as well. Thank you for joining me at this midnight hour. It's not my plan to come on at midnight. I just had tons of things that got in the way of me getting this up and running. But I think it's going to be worth the wait. And for those of you who are up across the planet, joining us here at TGAC, I welcome you. That includes Gabuddy Never In. How are you? Hey, nice to see you. And Matthew O'Brien is here, waving as well. Swedish Lena, oh, it's always nice to see you. Wise Beard Man, good afternoon from Australia. Man, I'd love to be in Australia. Someday I shall come and visit you. That day is not now because I've got so much going on here. But I wanted to show you these videos that are some of what made Xenu TV so successful to begin with. It's the Scientologists coming up and asking, what are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes? And good Lord, they did that for years, providing tons of great material. And this is a picket that we'll be looking at that happened on August 19th in the year 2000. And this was in Clearwater, Florida. The Lisa McPherson Trust had been open since January 3rd, I think was when we opened the LMT doors. And we had an office right next door to the Office of Special Affairs. Oh, that was great planning on our part. Swedish Lena, oh, please do come on down. Tori wants to come too. The perfect duo. Yes, Tori and I, we love traveling together. We went to London together. We were in D.C. together. Anonymous was nice enough to invite us on this tour across the globe. And that was great fun. That was way back in 2008 when the Anonymous attack on Scientology just began. And I saw somebody from Anonymous put up a message about the Trump administration. I saw that on Twitter, which I refuse to call X. It's Twitter. And they were planning to take down Trump. And I said, Wise Beard Man approves. And there you go. And they weren't taking him down. They were just saying, hey, there's lots of stuff you're doing right now that's pretty destructive. Maybe you shouldn't be doing all that. And Anonymous would try to do something about destroying everything that's made our country strong. Anyway, enough of that. As I've got bigger fish to fry right here in Clearwater. And those fish are the carps and sharks that hang around Flag. So as I was saying, this set of videos we're going to look at tonight are from August 19th, And it's a period when the LMT had brought in Ursula Caberta, a German government official who was in charge of the work group overseeing Scientology's activities in Germany. And she came to Clearwater to visit, first time in Clearwater. And Scientology got really whipped into a frenzy at that point. And you probably have seen the video of them harassing her when she arrived at the airport. I have footage of us as we got there early, of course, waiting for the plane. And there were a crowd of quiet people, kind of just, in different seats across the little way there. Nothing looked necessarily nefarious, but there were a couple people that we could recognize. And one of them was the then PR person that Scientology brought down from Canada. And I wasn't planning to talk about this, so his name is escaping me right now, but I'll, it'll come to me at some point. But this guy did a really lousy job. I was going to say crappy job, and that probably fits in with where Bob caught him at one point. Bob followed him into the men's room and took his camera above the stall, pointing down, and there was the Scientology guy just texting to his bosses back at Scientology headquarters about what was going on. So we knew something was up, and then as soon as Ursula started coming off the plane, they all gathered around to shout, "Nazi, go home! Nazi criminal, go back to Germany!" And Al Butner, yes, thank you very much. I knew somebody would come through when my sleepy brain was not functioning. 49ers fan for life. You got it correct. Al Butner, indeed. And Al Butner, as a PR guy, he just seemed to create foot bullet after foot bullet. And that's always fun. I always like seeing that. He eventually, he left with tragedy in his wake. While he was here, his teenage son was, I believe he was, 18, 19, may have been a little older. He was found dead in the front seat of his car, drug overdose. And that pulled him out of town, as it should have. Not that the death of a child precludes Scientologists from staying on post, because there was the one tragedy where a Scientology attorney, and okay, somebody's going to have to come up with the name of this guy too. Again, and not planning to talk about any of this, but Kendrick Moxon. So Moxon was the attorney for Scientology that we encountered a lot. And probably the most memorable encounter that I had with him was a week after his daughter died. She was in the Sea Org. She was working at Golden Era. And she was in an underground electrical vault and was electrocuted. And immediately Scientology started spinning yarns about this to the police. That, she went down there to help a poor trapped little squirrel, and it must have been an accident. There are a lot of folks who thought more likely she was being put down there as part of the RPF. At any rate, a really tragic death, not helped at all by the fact that they told ever-changing stories to the police department there. And I was one of the folks from around the country who was calling in to the police department to say, listen, this is there's more to this than you possibly know. So just be aware that this is how Scientology behaves. Is it possibly she was down there on the RPF? And I think they just got fed up with all of us calling in and just sounding like cranks and quacks, because that's what it sounds like when you're trying to explain how Scientology behaves. Who's going to believe there's a rehabilitation project force in America? Who's going to believe that people can be overboarded from a ship, hands tied and feet tied and tossed overboard? And when they don't have a ship, like at Golden Era, they've got a lake. They just push them into the lake. How about that? The lake where often raw sewage flowed into there, and then the kids on the estate's project force would have to go out, and as one gal told me in an interview with her that I'm preparing to upscale right now, it was her duty to go in and with her hands take out all the human excrement from the lake. It was like, no, not even giving her gloves. So when you try to explain how Scientology behaves to officials, they just think, oh, here's another screwball. It can't be that bad. Well, yeah, it can be. It is. Sometimes it's worse. Anyway, so Moxon's daughter dies tragically. He goes back there to deal with this, and then like 1 week later, Miscavige's forced him back to Clearwater. And I see him approaching me as I'm standing on a corner in Clearwater, right downtown on Fort Harrison in Cleveland. And I see him rapidly approaching me. And as he does, as he gets closer to me, he's livid and he's screaming at me, "Get out of my town. Get out of my fucking town." And I was like, you should not be here. It's just nuts that they would put him into that position where, you got to handle the SPs who are in town. Sure, your daughter just died tragically, but get back here. You're needed here. Astonishing. So, and I got to say, I may have shared this story before, but also there was a hearing. I don't remember what case it was, but it was one where Bob was testifying, or or it was one of his trials, and I might have been called to take the stand at some point. So I was not allowed in the courtroom. I was in the jury waiting room in case they needed to call me. And I think Jeff Jacobson was in there with me as well. And so was Moxon. And Moxon decided, when I went out to go to the bathroom at some point and came back, I discovered that he had put a weight loss magazine on my chair. Okay, well, sure, fine. Like that's really going to upset me. But the fact that Moxon would be so petty was remarkable. And I got to say, what I did next was something that I feel somewhat guilty about, but I am here to confess my sins. So when he got up to leave the room, I put a copy of Good Parenting magazine on his chair. And when he came back, he went ballistic and was in my face telling me that he's got somebody that's going to sue me for harassing them and following them around. And, oh, it's Mary DeMoss. We're going to come after you for that. Okay, well, I'm not really following Mary around. She's coming up to my camera generally when I see her. But, was it fair for me? This was months later after his daughter died, but even still, I knew that would be a raw wound. So perhaps I should be ashamed of that, and I am somewhat, but not enough that I won't confess it, my crime here on a live stream. And that's what this stream is all about. It's about the sordid crimes of critics of Scientology. And the Scientologists you'll see in the video tonight are on the prowl, just looking for our crimes, convinced that they've uncovered the most amazing crimes possible. Let's see. We've got more people coming in here. Who do we have? Gregory Nitsky. Good morning, WBM, catching a live 7 a.m. here in Johannesburg. Hello to you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Moxon has no soul, says 49ers fan for life. DM took it. Kelly, thank you for all your help, Kelly. She says, it's so insane that Moxon helped cover it up. Yes, because most important thing, keep Scientology working. Swedish Lena, he has no clue who he was dealing with. So sad about the situation about his daughter. Yes, tragic. Really, really tragic. Oh, look, Moxon's here with us. Hello, how are you? I'm assuming that this isn't really Kendrick Moxon, but if it is you, welcome. And I just shared that story. That if you want to chime in and tell your side, that's fine. But it looks like he's currently being investigated by the California Bar Association. Really? Tell me more. All right, Goblin AFK, haha, answering your own theme song. What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, indeed. This is all about crimes. And I don't know if you saw the thumbnail for this broadcast, but I did have a lovely shot of just dozens and dozens of police officers pointing guns at me as I surrender. Yeah. Yes, okay, you got me. I'm a criminal. Tim Greenglass says, good evening. Good evening to you. Good early morning here and elsewhere. Is Kendrick Moxon a Scientologist himself, or does he just do it for money? He is a Scientologist. I think he has gone up the bridge. There are a lot of Scientology attorneys who are not at all, like Elliot Abelson, and I don't think who is. Can't think of the woman's name now who tried to erase the alt religion Scientology news group. Janet something? She is not. Ham it up again. The difference between you and Moxon is that you have a sense of conscience and guilt around your actions. That humanity has been trained out of the other guy. He'd not be capable of owning up to it. Yeah, could be. Kendrick Moxon, yeah, I do fraud. There you go. And Cacture, I still get propaganda from Scientology. And Moxon is still being used as a pawn by Scientology. 49ers for Life says Moxon thinks his daughter is coming back. That's just her meat body. Yeah, there's a lot of comfort in that, isn't there? Watch me levitate. Hey, guys. Nice. All right, I'm waiting. Go ahead. Levitate. Come on, I dare you. I'm watching right now. Couldn't do it, could you? Well, oh my God, he's levitating. All right, I take it back. Got a good camera that goes both ways. Watch out, everybody. Swedish Lena, protesters have reported Moxon to the Bar Association for filing frivolous lawsuits, and they have taken up an investigation to his behavior. Well, that's nice to know. filing frivolous lawsuits, I mean, that's the job description for a Scientology attorney. Moxon is an OT8. That comes straight from 49ers fan for life, and you can take that to the bank. Kecker says, I drive by Pack Base. Most of the time, there's not many people there. That's true. Mine Sai, hello, agents of Xenu. Welcome. Nice to see you. Uh-oh, I think he's still up in the air. Come on down. All right. Oh my God, he's levitating. Could be a meme. Could be. Could be. By the way, you know, I'm working on merchandise, so maybe there's something there. So tonight we're going to see some of the Scientologists in action following Hubbard's crimes to dig up their crimes, to silence a critic. If you can't dig them up, manufacture them. Jay says, Hunky Bunky, I'm late. I didn't get a notification. Sorry about that. I'm late too. I never planned to be going on at midnight. And I can't call it midnight with Mark because that's kind of copyrighted by Magoo. So bedtime with Bunky is what we have. And ladies, let that be a suggestion. Nisa, comment. He continued to be in Scientology even after his daughter died and still represent them. And, Monique Yingling is the other attorney I was thinking of. Yes. I gave $10K to Danny. Danny. Okay, fill me in. I'm sorry. My sleepy brain may not know what I should be knowing with Danny's name there. I saw a pic with Moxon holding an OT8 certificate. LOL. Merchandise? I hope there will be hats. Well, how could there not be hats? You know, you all have to own your hat. Oh, just a troll. Okay. Danny Masterson? Can that person give context? Maybe not. All right. So, where was I? Oh, okay. So I've got all of these videos that I've had since, well, this was August 19th of 2000. I've had all of these online. They were on my secondary channel, Xenu TV 1, which just as I was putting this together tonight, just like a half an hour or so ago, I got a notice from Google that, yes, they're letting me back into Xenu TV 1, which I didn't have the email address that I put on that one years ago. That email was dead. And I contacted them like a month ago and said, listen, this is my site. I want to go in. I want to make some changes there and repurpose it. And I can't get in. And they said, nothing we can do. But eventually they said, okay, well, I tell you what, go through this process. And in a month or so, we will get back to you whether you can have the channel again or not. So they just said, okay, you got it. So I just reset my password. And so these videos are in terrible quality on that channel, which was, by the way, put up against YouTube's policies. When I had my main channel, the one you're watching right now, I had that one canceled for a while because of copyright strikes. And it involved the Tom Cruise tape, but also involved Viacom. And I think I shared this story just recently, but essentially I had a Stephen Colbert clip on this channel. And it was a great clip. Stephen Colbert dressed up like Xenu doing like a 5-minute bit all about Scientology. And Viacom said, no, you can't do that. And so that was like the third strike on the channel, and Scientology was one of them. And so that, boom, right as the Tom Cruise tape hit, my channel was gone. And there was enough people in Anonymous that could actually contact Viacom, the copyright owners of Stephen Colbert, or his show, The Colbert Report. And they put enough pressure on it that Viacom said, all right, we'll let you have your channel back. And they took back the strike. In the meantime, for a week or two, I had started to put a lot of my clips over there onto that secondary channel. And, thank God, because there were a couple of things there that I'd forgotten and that I didn't even have a copy of. So at least I've got a crappy quality right now copy of a couple of different videos that I did. One of which was my 100th video on YouTube, which was set to the tune of the 2001 Space Odyssey. Dum, dum, dum. And, it says something like Wise Beard Man's 100th video has to be, something spectacular, has to be filled with cake, whatever. And all the time music was building, and I bring something up to the music. As the music gets to this biggest chord, I present my kitty, Wise Beard Cat. And it was a nice video. And then YouTube erased the music from it. Copyright strike. So I've got, at least I've got the silent video of that, which I can recreate now. But since kitties were so important to Anonymous, I thought, well, that's a perfect way to. Well, it was Wise Beard Cat, and then as a surprise, I introduced Wise Beard Kitty at the new little kitten I had. Nice. I just followed that account too. Okay, very good. I'm deciding what to do with it. I'm thinking about making it, remastering as the Church of Bunkology and Bunkinetics, and making all that stuff over there. Goblin AFK, wild that they even got back to you at all. They seemed unreachable most of the time. Yeah, it's true. But that was that was the power of Anonymous, because the removal of my YouTube channel really wouldn't have had, much impact, except Anonymous made it such a big story that there was news coverage of it. There was, I was interviewed about it. There were stories, and Anonymous was able to find the Viacom attorney's office and just pepper them with calls to say, bring it back, bring it back. So by the time I actually got their contact number, the attorney got on the line and went, oh, you're the guy. Okay. Yeah, we've heard all about this. Yeah, okay. You don't put up any more copyrighted material, and we'll remove the strike. So that was nice of them to do that. Oh boy, that voice is going already. Cinematic pomposity. That's what I'm best at. The Scientology approved videos are so unworldly. What are you talking about with the Scientology approved videos? Are you talking about like the ads that they do, things like that? Kacker says, I still talk to some Sea Orgs and they don't know that I'm out. They are desperate for new Sea Org members. They are trying to bring people from South America. Valley Org Sunday had only 3 or 4 publics. How about that? How about that? Hard to believe, because it's the fastest growing religion on the planet. Don't you know? Sure would like to see Anonymous around these days, says Kelly. And they are around. They've got other fish to fry. And frankly, I'd be happy to see them trying to take on what our government is up to right now, because that's a much bigger story than Scientology. This is it's good to have people targeting different problems. And, I remember driving in the car listening to NPR at one point. There's some expert talking about some particular little rare fish in the ocean. And it made me think how wonderful it is that there's somebody somewhere who's concentrating on something that they find important that actually is important. And while this may not be the biggest problem in the world, Scientology is the biggest problem that Scientologists have to face, at least the ones that are under attack, forced to disconnect, have all of these issues that Scientology brings. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, chances are it's going to happen to you at some point. If you're a Scientologist, you're going to be called in for a sec check. There's going to be trouble somewhere along the line. No, there's seminars. Scientology seminars are pompous. Sorry, I lit a California cigarette, not typing well. Kids, don't do drugs. How many times must I say this? Don't do drugs. But you're okay. I'll let you go this time. Question from Nisa. Was the anonymous movement the first ones to protest? No, by no means were they the first. They were the most incredible army, though, that had ever sprung up. When people were protesting Scientology over the years, it could just be a couple of people. Like, back in the mid-90s, you had somebody help me with their name. Nan's son was in Scientology, and she was disconnected from him. She was incredibly active, not just picketing Scientology, but also contacting people like Leo J. Ryan, a politician who really cared about cults. In fact, lost his life by visiting Guyana to try to help people who had been down there as part of Jonestown. And there's been a movie or two about that. It's pretty amazing. But he and Nan had a lot of contact. In fact, she was given one of these ceremonial flags that had been on, that had flown over the Capitol, I think, after he was gunned down by these followers of Jim Jones in Guyana. So there's always people who have been out there protesting. And when I started looking into this and started to attend a few of the protests, there would be a dozen or more. Sometimes if it was a well-organized thing, you could have up to 50 people at like Lisa McPherson Memorial in December of 1999 and 2000. So there'd be people flying in for that. But people would have to congregate from around the planet to get those type of numbers. When Anonymous came out, there were hundreds and thousands of people in various cities all across the planet. And sometimes, if it's a smaller city, then maybe there's 4 or 5 people there. 4 or 5 people picketing a Scientology org that had never seen a protest before. So, I mean, everyone helping, chipping in and being part of that movement was what made such a huge difference. And for at least a half a year, every month, once a month, Anonymous would stage a big protest. And they always had a fun theme to it. Like my favorite was the Sea Arg, where they all dressed up like pirates. But you know, one of those things one of the things that happens when you do things on a regular basis, some people are going to grow a little tired of it, and so that died down. But there's still anonymous people who follow all of this and are involved with all of this. It's just that, you know, protesting in the streets is not a mass event for most people. Most people, they don't want to be part of something like that, but they are interested in finding out more about Scientology. Comment. Karen Dela Cruz. Do you mean Karen Dela Carrier? Not sure what that's about. FBC123 me. I saw those videos you filmed in 2000. I saw the one where Mary DeMoss confronted you. Anyway, the image quality was top notch. Top notch. You must have spent some time and money restoring them. Well, it's the most expensive program that I probably purchased. Or just about. It was $300 for the program that does the upscaling, but it was well worth it. And in fact, I found out now that they want to charge you annually to keep getting updates. So I think, you know, I committed early to buy into the updates. So it's like $150 a year, I think, if you want to continue getting the latest version of the app. If I just wanted to keep with the current app, it would work fine. It would be great. But they keep updating it and making it better and better. So I look forward to seeing what comes next. So that was money well spent. So we're going to see some more Mary DeMoss upgraded tonight. I think you may be talking about the Mad Picket, which we had put up here. Oh, Swedish Lena, thank you for helping get that bill paid. That's a big help. That's wonderful of you. And anyone who wants to chip in, feel free. This is this is something I'm doing in my retirement, and not a lot of cash hanging around. So I appreciate all the help you can give. One of my favorite videos, said Goblin AFK, is when Mary kept following you in a circle and you kept slowly turning around. We're not seeing that tonight, but I have captured that. We will be seeing that soon. When that happened, and I'm sorry, my voice is shot already. Oh, look, I've got something here to drink. It's probably warm by now, but let me have a little sip of it. Warm diluted Diet Pepsi. What could be better? Mary would have this habit, and a couple other Scientologists did this as well. But I'd have my camera up looking at her, and she'd want to be looking at my eye. So she'd be moving off of the camera to go to my eye, and I just keep following her with my camera. So she started going, well, why are you moving? Why are you circling? No, you keep moving, and I'm following you. I'm trying to get you framed properly. But as she continued to circle around me, I was thinking, you know what would make this video really great? If I added some Calliope music. So I went back to the office and I did, and it was wonderful. So That's where the Mary DeMoss go round came from. And the Mary DeMoss go round will be upscaled. Don't you worry. How can you upgrade Mary DeMoss? Impossible. Well, I think Mary's wonderful. I always loved seeing Mary. Mary was a treat. And if I can have 4K Mary, that's fine with me. Glorfindale West, your calmness during protesting is so great. It's simple. It's a simple little thing. I don't know why. I don't know why people allow their buttons to be pushed. I mean, I'm just a natural OT, I guess. Goblin says it was like a Stooges skit, having Mary circle around. Yeah, kind of. Oh, speaking of which, I've had these sitting here. Look, it's the complete Three Stooges DVD box set, which, I ripped these and I have these on my hard drive, so they're easily accessible. And because I talked about them so much earlier on here, look, it's the complete Hal Roach, Laurel and Hardy films from the Sound days. Some of them lovingly restored. And there is a guy that I just discovered his YouTube channel. One of the guys who had a big hand in making some of these videos just gorgeous. He has a YouTube channel where he's taking a lot of rare stuff and upscaling that. And he's got access to a lot of stuff that I'd never seen before. Pilots for shows that were never sold. He's doing good work there. Not everything, a lot of stuff he does an incredible job of fixing up, cleaning up, and making it look brilliant. Subcat, I think is his name, something like that. I'll have to look it up. Can I see it on here? Do I see him anywhere? If it's there, it is in far too tiny print for me to find right now. But we'll dig up that YouTube channel if you're interested, because I found some stuff there that really is pretty remarkable. And then a lot of stuff that really is not that remarkable, but it's amazing that you can see it. Like, I've never seen any of the, I don't think I've seen any of the Beanie and Cecil original Time for Beanie puppet shows. I think there was a DVD out of some of them, but, he's got some of those. That was Albert Einstein's favorite show. 49ers for life. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I thank you for all you do as well. So, Time for Beanie. When I was a kid, Beanie and Cecil was a cartoon. But prior to the cartoon, it was a puppet show called Time for Beanie. And Albert Einstein would stop everything at like 4:15 in the afternoon when it was time for Beanie. And you could not disturb him because he was enjoying that. And it was some talented people doing that. I think Stan Freberg was one of the voices. And Stan Freberg was a comic giant of the 1950s. He had a radio show. It was like the last of the big network radio shows, comedy show with actors and music and sketches, and the Stan Freberg Show, which had a theme song that I loved, because it was every week it was updated. This is the first show of the series of a brand new radio series. And so every week, this is the third episode of a series. But he had a team of people that he worked with over the years. Some of them would go on to do voices for like Huckleberry Hound and Quick Draw McGraw and all those Hanna-Barbera cartoons. He also made comedy records that were terrific. comedy spoofs. Some of them were just musical satires. Others of them, there were a few of them that were dragnet spoofs. Very great stuff. I don't know how I got onto that, really, but because there's Time for Beatty there, and Walter Winchell and his puppet show. He had Walter Winchell was ventriloquist, and I kind of grew up with him. The one that I saw all the time as a kid that I loved was Sherry Lewis. I thought Sherry Lewis was delightful. And Sherry Lewis, by the way, if you remember her in Lamb Chop, Sherry Lewis wrote an episode of the original Star Trek. It's true. Lights of Zetar. Sherry Lewis. Anyway, Sherry Lewis I still have a crush on her. Glorfindel West, I have to rewatch The Music Box. Indeed you do. Also, my favorites are Helpmates, Going Bye-Bye, I like, and Their First Mistake, which is a film where Ollie's wife is upset that he's always hanging out with Stan. She's fed up with that. So Stan comes over, even though she doesn't want him over there, and she walks out on Oliver. And Stan says, well, if you had a baby, she would come back. So they go out and adopt a baby somehow. So they bring a baby home and she's gone. So they have to take care of the baby themselves. Very funny film. Warm diluted Diet Pepsi made you chuckle? Well, get ready for a laughing fit. Hey, here we go. Sweet. Thank you, Susan. Very nice DVD sets. I recently picked up a Marx Brothers Blu-ray and have enjoyed seeing them in such high quality. You know what? I think if you got the one that I just did, as a Christmas gift to myself, I bought the first 5 Marx Brothers films that were made at Paramount Studios. I bought those on Blu-ray, all 5 movies, each of them having a commentary track and having some extra bells and whistles that were created just for the discs. That entire set was like $13. And very nice. The best that they've looked ever on DVD and Blu-ray. But I tell you what, they look even better now because I ran them all through the upscaler. And now they look remarkable. I don't know why the studios don't do that more. I guess there's film buffs who say, well, we want to see them the way they were supposed to be seen, how they were meant to be seen. We don't want them this sharp. But frankly, I think they look spectacular. So it's nice that I've got, 3 different setups here. So I can occasionally, if there's a movie or something I want to upscale, I can out here. And in the office, I've got another set where I'm upscaling. Subcat is the channel. Yes, that is it. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Subcat is the channel. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yay, I'm caught up. Mark, you make an adorable chipmunk. I was catching up on 2 times. Oh, how about that? Welcome to you. Miss Sunrise Dawn has to go. Well, gotta go, Mod. Sending love back to you. Thanks for stopping by. Susan, Time for Beanie, LOL. I'd forgotten about that until now. I watched it when I was a kid, when Beanie was a puppet. I love AI-enhanced and colorized movies. If the colorization is done well, it doesn't bother me. There's so many that really look horrible. I have seen, now the BBC is colorizing some of the early black and white Doctor Who shows. And they're doing a really good job with it. So if you can do that well, I say fine. But I know people were upset when Ted Turner got access to all the films, all the classics from which studio was it? Well, I mean, the Citizen Kane was United Artists, and I think they were lumped in with what studio? I get confused because when I worked at Paramount, part of Paramount Studios was the old RKO lot. But the RKO films were distributed through Disney. Anyway, Ted Turner years ago got the copyrights to a whole bunch of classics like Citizen Kane, and people were in an uproar over the fact that Citizen Kane might be colorized, which I don't think they ever did. Although here's an interesting story that I've never told before. That it's kind of like the brownie story that I shared the other night. As a young actor, I would find myself getting the most interesting jobs, whether it was a commercial for something or being a small part in a show. But I remember doing something for the Playboy channel, and it was a fake commercial with me pushing a revolutionary new vacuum cleaner that was nuclear powered. And as it's being demonstrated behind me, I'm not in the scene with the young gal, but somebody behind me with her and vacuuming, and it vacuums off all her clothes as I'm talking. And there was a fella I worked with that worked for Playboy. He was not involved in this shoot, but he was writing things for them. And so I wrote a spec script that was never made about Ted Turner deciding that he was going to not just colorize, but denudify, electronically remove clothing from classic movies. And it was a humorous script. Never got to the right people, unfortunately, as it was more highbrow than it sounds. It was clever use of nudity. Okay. Are we ever going to watch any of these videos I have for you? Wowza. What a job, eh? Yep. You never know what you're going to stumble into. Oh. All right. Here's another absolutely bizarre chapter of my life. I had a friend who was a stripper. And I had mentioned, when video cameras were getting better and better, and they had started, a couple of people had started to make movies with just a standard video camera. And I'm trying to think of the director who was a pretty famous director, who was the first one to take a shot at just making a video on a standard def camera. And of course, it looked like crap. But I had mentioned in passing that, you could make a movie with the cameras now. And the fact that you can edit stuff yourself, it's possible to make your own movie. My friend told that to the stripper, and the stripper said, "Hey, that's a great idea." And so she hired me to shoot a movie for her. And there was no nudity involved, by the way. But But the whole idea of the film, and I was trying to explain to her, yeah, you can do it. You know, I don't think that it's necessarily going to be seen anywhere. And her idea was to make a film about a stripper trying to get a hold of Howard Stern. And so we shot for a few weeks with her and her stripper friends doing improv. And I was just videotaping away every day. And she was paying me cash every day. I was, okay, fine. All right. Knowing that, well, this isn't really going to come together as a movie, you know. And eventually she discovered that herself, I think, and just pulled the plug on it, which was fine with me. But, you know, she had me write to the head of Paramount Studios asking for permission to use, I think she wanted like 25 minutes worth of footage from Howard Stern's Private Parts movie, which had just come out. No, you're not getting that. I explained to her. No way. But I wrote the letter for her anyway, and they wrote back, no, you're not getting that. That's what I'd love to see Mark do a stream just about that. How about that? And Glorvindel, I wouldn't underrate clever nudity. I agree. There's fine uses for it, and I think the what I had in store for the denudization process I thought was going to be amusing. And one of the things I remember, this was not, the budget for this would have been small, but I was thinking big. So I was thinking, Ted Turner probably as part of this, he spent money buying the entire Hollywood sign and he moved it to Atlanta. And so you'd look out in the window in the parking lot, you just see the letters randomly sitting on trucks in the parking lot. Okay, go ahead, do it. You can do it now. You could do that with a computer right now. I could make that look brilliant. Anyway. That's what she said. I'm missing out. Chatting about classic cinema is my favorite thing. Most people my age do not know the classics. Well, I love talking about movies, classic and new. I almost went to a movie last night. I tried. I was going to see one film at my favorite theater, and it was one of the Oscar contenders that I haven't seen. I think it's called I'm Alone, something like that. But the New York Times did a story on it just the other day, where occasionally in the New York Times they have a scene from the movie that they show, and then the director of the film explains what's happening in the scene and why they chose to do the scene that way and how that affects the rest of the movie. And I saw a scene from that film that I thought, wow, I really want to find out what goes on next. So I bought a ticket for it. And then about an hour before the show was starting, I got an email from AMC saying, we're terribly sorry. We had to cancel the ticket because there's some problems in the theater that we're not having any screenings right now. So I thought, okay, well, there's another theater farther away. I'll go see it there. No, it's not there. Well, there's another film. Let me go see this film. This looks like a good film. It seems to be getting good ratings. It's set in Ireland. It's about two warring families. It's got the star of some of these films that have been extremely popular. I'm trying to think of the name of, what was the name of that thing? This guy was like a college student who bumps into, like he's a nebbish, and he bumps into the, tough guy, the big man on campus, and who's wealthy fella, and he gets kind of adopted into the family, and then things go really wacky. I can't think of the name of it. It starts with the SAN, I think. Somebody will know. So he's starring in this film, And I thought, okay, I'll get a ticket for that. And then I was looking at some of the reviews online where it said everyone was saying it's too violent toward animals. There's all this horrible stuff being done to animals throughout the film. I said, I don't want to see that. I mean, getting good reviews, but it's one thing to see Turl take a laser and shoot off a cow's leg in a dopey film. But if they're going to great lengths in this war between two feuding families to be slaughtering each other's animals, I don't want to see that. Somebody will have all the answers to all the titles and things that I can't remember. And don't forget, as Kelly says, link to subscribe, gift, or sign up for memberships. It helps enormously. Keeps everything flowing here. Would anyone like to take a look at some of these upscaled videos? I've got them ready. Let me just start off with one of these. This is what I call the crimes picket, because they're talking about what are your crimes? What are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes, Jeff? What are your crimes, complete strangers here on the street? What are your crimes? And they're convinced that we all have crimes, of course, because Hubbard says we do. But as I was mentioning way back hours ago when we started this stream, that this was during the time when Ursula Caberta from the German official came to town. So everyone was whipped into a frenzy. And a lot of the people who came out to protest at the airport when Ursula arrived are in this video, including Dr. Ian Shillington, who in the airport was the first to shout, "Nazi criminal, go back to Germany." Pleasant fella, this guy. And he's some sort of shyster who has, I don't know, he's not a doctor. It's, herbal stuff, I think. At any rate, he's still around. But he enjoyed coming out in the street and having a little dust up now and then. And he was very active around this point. We're going to get to him, but first, I'm going to show you Hans Beschor. Hans Beschor was a German national who moved here to Clearwater. And this was at a point where Scientology was claiming that it was impossible. It was impossible for a Scientologist to get a job in Germany because there's all this discrimination. And to prove that to the government agencies, Scientologists would send their rejection letters to the government saying, this is what I applied for a job here. And they said, I'm sorry, I would hire you, but you're a Scientologist, so I'm not going to do it. So they were trying to whip the German government up into a frenzy. But then there's an article in one of the German magazines saying, the companies that are saying, no, we can't hire you because you're a Scientologist, those are all Scientologists. So they were manufacturing evidence to give to the government to say we're being discriminated against, rather than just finding some discrimination that was happening or wasn't it happening? I don't know. So that was a big story, and that's why Ursula was here in Clearwater, because the woman who worked right next door on the other side of the Lisa McPherson Trust, Osa on this side, Lisa McPherson Trust on the other side, was this car rental place where there was no place to park the cars. But she was named in this article as somebody who was doing this dodgy thing with fake evidence. So we had a press conference about that. And of course, nothing happened. But it was a fun period, at least, whipping the Scientologists into a frenzy. So Hans it came to me the day before this video was shot. And he came into the LMT and he was talking to me in there. And then after he left, I kind of wrote up a report on alt-religion Scientology saying, oh, this is what happened. This is what we talked about. Yada, yada, yada. And so at the beginning of this video, see, he comes up to me and he said, I saw what you wrote and it's not exactly right. Let's take a listen to that, shall we? All right.
Really good.
What's new?
I saw your stuff on the internet.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's one thing. I had to leave yesterday, man. Come on, stop this. We are friends, I think, huh?
We are friends.
Oh, come on.
But I'm going to give you your chance right now to tell me what you wanted to say
I
about
never
my post.
filmed you. Come on. Put this down. Put this down. Come on.
We're both journalists, you know that.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Come on, put this down.
I don't know why he's so afraid of being on camera.
Why you say there's something wrong what you are doing here. You say we are right and we are okay, but why you are harassing us? That's not okay. You know it.
Hans, I don't believe that I'm harassing you.
You do.
I'm trying to help you.
Okay, put your camera down and let's talk. Let's talk.
There's way
Come
too
on.
much going on for me to
Something
put it
is
down
wrong
now,
here, Mark.
I'll talk to
Something
you
is
later,
really
okay?
wrong. No,
I
something
will
is
talk
really.
to you later, but you can't
No.
distract me from.
By the way, this guy with the camera right there, Joe Neal. Joe Neal was the fellow who I believe got involved in some sort of scuffle with Bob Minton that brought about the. Well, I mean, I could be wrong about that, but brought about the injunction. I know Joe Neal is somebody that I had encounters with, and I actually have one of his surveillance tapes. See, unlike us, when I shoot this video, I would put it online and let everybody see it. But you see the video that he's taking, that just went right to OSA. That was just filed as, intelligence gathering. And when I had my camera attacked by a guy with a hammer, I turned that over to the police as evidence. And the police, after a month or more, said, okay, we're giving you back the tape. So I went down to the police station and got it. I brought it home, and it was not my tape. It was Joe Neal's tape of it was Richard Howd is the kid who was in the incident with Bob, who did a little spin when Bob kind of hit him in the forehead with his picket sign. He did a spin and went to the ground. The reason I confused it with Joe Neal here is because on this tape that was labeled as from Joe Neal, it opens with a shot of that. You can't really see much. It's just a little scuffle in a spiral. But the police gave me that tape back by mistake, and it had a lot of footage of him, Joe Neal, going out through different areas in the countryside, scoping out homes. And then it was footage of him filming through the LMT window into my office. And then footage of Scientologists protesting the Lisa McPherson Trust at one point, all of which was silent, pretty much. But I took the tape back to the police department and said, you got the wrong tape. I still need my tape back. Here's Joe Neal's. Oddly enough, I still have a copy of that, though. It was given to me by the police. I felt it was officially in my hands, so I may have a copy of that around somewhere. And we may, as an activity that we can do jointly, I can show you the homes that he was surveilling, and maybe somebody out there knows the address because they have a close up of the number on the mailbox, for instance. can't see the street sign though. But maybe somebody has an idea of who they were casing. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Uncovering what's actually happening here, okay?
Why don't you talk to us about Jesse getting
I
busted?
can't put the camera down when Mary DeMoss is around.
Your executive.
Mary, how do we join the Religious Freedom Foundation?
So this is at the time when Mary DeMoss came to the city council, and we would have 3 minutes where we could stand up and talk about anything at the end of the meeting, or at the beginning of the meeting at that point. And she came to proudly talk about the fact that she had formed this new amazing group, the Foundation for Religious Tolerance, or FART. And FART was going to be so special because it was going to gather together all the churches and synagogues and whatever you have here in Clearwater, and come all under one tent, and there'd be all sorts of fun, festive things that they'd be doing together to express religious tolerance. And so I, of course, wanted to be a member. Because who's more tolerant than I am? If you want to believe in L. Ron Hubbard, go ahead. You can. I may giggle. But so she makes a big deal about announcing this fabulous organization. And then a few weeks or a month later, Jeff Jacobson, our librarian, is looking through one of the Scientology publications. And there's a letter to the editor in there, I think. And they don't put the names in there. They just use the initials. So MD says, let me tell you about something. I said I created this incredible organization for religious tolerance. You want to know who's member of this? How many people are part of this massive organization? Me. It's just me. And so we were able to go to the city council the next time and say, look, she came up here and represented to you that the Foundation for Religious Tolerance was going to be doing all of these things. And here in the magazine, she's just saying, this is a front. I just did that so we could throw it in the critics' faces. And that's what Scientology does. Lies. Lies. It doesn't matter. It does not matter who you tell lies to, whether you're making up documents to give to the German government to show how harassed Scientologists are, or in the case of us at the Lisa McPherson Trust, Scientology was creating fictional anti-discrimination groups and lumping us in with the KKK and this and that and the Lisa McPherson Trust. So they create some fictional website that lists us with the most horrific groups possible, and then turns it in to the Florida state officials to say, Lisa McPherson Trust is recognized as a dangerous organization. Just look, you're manufacturing evidence, presenting it to a government agency. That's fraud. That's illegal. And who cares? Nothing's ever done about it. But that's the way Scientology works. And I think it's important for all of us to be documenting that that's the way they work. Anyway, I'm glad you're enjoying, whether it's calling something fart or the fact that it's what are your crimes over and over and over? Or just people saying, yay, it's Mary. We love Mary. let's get back to Mary. Mary is here on the corner trying not to talk to me, but you can see there's people in the car there. They're going to be shouting out something that shows that they're supportive of the critics of Scientology and not Mary DeMoss, which is, she has to face that.
Burning Phaeton.
They think they have special powers.
They believe that 75 million years ago, the evil space lord Xenu. Say she doesn't want to hear this. Mary, can we join the
You guys are Nazi fascists. You're definitely not invited.
Yeah, where's Jesse? I want to know where Jesse is. Why isn't Jesse out with you guys today?
Your group is so criminal, Mark. What are you paying your taxes? Because that's a crime, you know?
You guys are
paying your
perverts.
taxes on all that new money you're making? Because you've never held your own job?
Right, wait till
Your crimes will be
and
so
it's blood
found
money.
out.
And
Will be
Never held my own job. For God's sakes, I help sell nuclear-powered vacuum cleaners. How can you say I... And that other fellow you see popping in there, that is Dr. Ian Shillington, and you'll see a lot of him tonight.
They're getting paid with blood money.
We will laugh at you, Mark. We will laugh.
How do I join the Religious Freedom
You
Foundation?
are not invited. You have no idea how to be tolerant about another religion. You are disgusting. You are full of lies, hate, and crime.
I'm tolerant of...
You're full of lies, hate,
What are you
crime.
not tolerant? What are you out here for?
You're
You're a bigot.
Lies, hate, and crime.
You're a bigot.
Mary, if somebody watching this would like to join the Religious Freedom Foundation, how would they
Mark,
do
what are your crimes? When are you going to divulge them? You're working with criminals. You guys are cultivating drugs. You guys don't pay your taxes. You have a leader who has gone to Nigeria, and how many people has he killed in order to make money to pay so that you can eat because you don't know how to work for yourself? You guys call yourself a trust, and yet you're not for-profit. You guys are hiding things. You are lying. You will be so found out. You just keep doing what you're doing. You will make us look so good because so far you guys look really bad.
Well, how can anyone join the Religious Freedom Foundation?
You guys look so bad.
But there are people out there who would like to join.
You
maybe don't.
You
think
need
are
to
quite
just
as
tell
bad.
them
How
your
would they do it?
crimes. Tell them your crimes, Bunker. What are they from the time you were a kid? How many things did you steal?
Now, Hans told me that
How many
he
did you
joined the-
steal?
that he joined
How
the
many
Religious
things have you
Freedom
stolen,
Foundation.
Mark?
Mark, are you gay?
You pervert?
Are you gay?
What's
Are
the
you really?
deal
I
with
mean,
you?
Are you a pervert or are you gay? I'd like to
I've
know.
asked out Mary.
You know.
Mary, you want to see a movie?
You tell that you want that you like Scientologists and that you think we are okay. But what are you doing here?
No, I think you're okay. I think Mary's okay. But see what happened? I asked Mary one specific question. How can anyone join the Religious Freedom Foundation?
Yeah?
And all she could do was attack and accuse me of doing all sorts of crimes. Why can't you just answer?
You're not. That's not okay. What are you doing, Mark? Come to your senses. That's
Hans,
not
a year
okay.
From now, once you look at all the facts from both sides, you will understand.
I will.
that it's okay.
I will.
All right. Well. So a lot to unpack there. Ian Shillington coming in and talking about drugs. This was at the time when they had just gotten Jesse Prince, the Lisa McPherson Trust vice president. They got him arrested on drug charges, and he had to stand trial. But the fact that he was arrested at 5 a.m, armed officers, SWAT team essentially, broke into Jesse's home and arrested him, brought him out by gunpoint, and hauled him away for having having a marijuana plant in his home. And was big news. And Jesse had to stand trial. And Jesse was found not guilty because the entire thing was a Scientology setup. We tracked down the PI who had befriended Jesse at one of the local bars. It was a black PI that Scientology had to go to Orlando to find a black PI who would come and do the job of just hanging out in one of Jesse's favorite bars until Jesse and his girlfriend came there for an evening. And then he kind of, cozied up to Jesse, befriended him, gave him some pot. and said, let's go home to your home and let's smoke it. So they did that. And then the guy turned him into the police. And then the raid happened. We were able to track down this PI in Orlando and subpoena him. So he had to come and testify about everything that he did. And even though it's true, Jesse had a pot plant. Jesse did have some pot in his home that was given to him by this private eye. Even though he was guilty, the jury was so astonished, so pissed off that Scientology would go to those lengths that they found Jesse not guilty. And but that's the type of thing, you know, creating a crime, creating evidence, setting somebody up so they can prove that L. Ron Hubbard is right. If you attack Scientology, you must be a criminal. They never found out about the pot brownie. Let's see him make something of it now. Come to your senses. That's rich, says Kelly. Whoa! She kisses her mother with that mouth. Robert? I still think Mary's probably a delightful person, and we could be an amazing couple. It's bedtime with Bunky right now, and if she wanted to come and be part of bedtime with Bunky, here or not on tape, something to consider. All right, so you've met Dr. Ian Shillington now. Ian Shillington was really on a tear this night. And let's take a listen to what he has to say.
What's Minton paying you? What's he paying you? Would you answer that question? Mr. Mark Bunker?
Dr. Shillington?
Yes, I'm here. What are your crimes against not only Scientology, but what are your crimes against humanity? I'd like to know.
I called Hubbard a lunatic charlatan.
Oh, I want to know what your crimes are against humanity. I bet you're into dope, or are you into little boy?
What crimes have you committed?
You're into little boys.
What crimes
right?
have you committed? You're dealing drugs? You a drug dealer? What crimes have you committed?
Just like,
come on, give it up.
So I call this guy Bub. Bub is a character in George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. I don't know if you're a fan of the Night of the Living Dead films from George A. Romero. Those are some of my favorite films. Day of the Dead is the third film of the series. It's not a classic the way Dawn of the Dead is, when they're all kind of trying to survive inside a shopping mall. Day of the Dead, though, they have one zombie who's got some sort of intelligence, and the military is trying to train him. And they nickname that zombie Bub, and he reminds me of this guy. So whenever I see this fella, all I can think of is Bub. And this fella, just a couple nights before at the Mad Picket, was the one who got angry and shoved Bob Minton. And then the Scientologists had to pull him off to the side and say, let them come to you. And that's going to be important later when he kind of is putting his face against my camera. And I remind him of that. And you can see how he's kind of rattled at me being aware that they had this plan to provoke us. Anyway, that's coming up. But for now, let's go back to Bub and Ian.
Come on.
Just like, what's his friend? Jesse Prince, right?
Pot like Jesse is?
Growing pot, just like Jesse? Oh, I think we got a read on that one. Yeah. Aren't we? We're just so cute today, aren't we, Mark? Come on. Your number two man falls to drugs. Now, what's going on with the rest of you? I would like to know what your crimes are.
They're up on their bills.
What? You like my face? You want to just continue doing that? Take it. He likes my hand.
At least you're not touching the camera like
Well, see, I don't have gum.
That's a reference to the Mad Picket, where Dennis Clark was putting gum on Jeff Jacobson's camera. Bub was a creep, yeah, but I agree. Bub was a creep, Jay. But he didn't seem like a bad guy creep, even though clearly he lost it when he was getting angry over Bob. But otherwise he seems fairly innocuous and not very bright. He's like Bub. And somebody apparently, Whiplash, thinks Day of the Dead is a great movie. I would agree. It's got a great opening. If you haven't seen Day of the Dead, if you just watch the opening sequence, brilliant setting of the scene where they're in Florida, and clearly the dead have taken over, and to introduce the film, looking down this deserted like city street, shops and things on there. There's an occasional dead thing walking around, but then there's a newspaper that flies into the shot and lands face up with a headline that says something like "The Dead Walk, the Dead Rise," whatever it is. And it was just so masterful the way he did that opening. But the film had a script that was much more expansive, and then he lost a lot of money. Investors were going to put into the film, so he had to rewrite it and make everything like in an underground, little military station. So it's not the best of the series, but there's the great stuff in it. Hey, we got to read on that one. Oh, Michelle, you're right. Oh, he's so fond of that. Oh, we got you now. Falls to drugs, LOL, says COB ILF. He is talking about a single weed plant. Well, that's just the start of it. If Jesse's got a weed plant, that means he's got to be a major dealer. He's got to be a junkie. SPTV, Never Ends, and Artology. Right, Kabilf. And Whiplash wisely says the original Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead are both great movies. I'm not trying to besmirch Day of the Dead because I enjoy it. It's just, it's a shame that George Romero was not able to get his real vision on screen. George Romero says Tim Greenglass was underrated and prolific. His vampire film, Martin, is unique. Yep, that is a great film. I also like Night Riders, which was his Nights on Motorcycles film. He did a lot of really nice work as an independent filmmaker in Pittsburgh. For him to have accomplished everything he did is remarkable. And the The Walking Dead TV series, that's his universe. That's George Romero's universe that they're using. And he should have been getting a cut of that. Oh, look at that. Kelly is so right. Easiest way to support me, hit that button. Hit that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed. It's easy and free, and feel free if you want to throw a couple extra bucks in there too. Link to, there you go. Link to subscribe, gift, or sign up for memberships. There you go. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. And Whiplash does agree that Dawn of the Dead is better. Well, you have to agree it's better. And I got to say that I am no longer upset that there was the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I have watched it a couple of times now under the new terms that he's doing his own version of it. What's the guy's name who did all the the fairly mediocre DC films. Yeah, I can't remember anyone's names anymore. But the remake of Dawn of the Dead was okay too. It's not a classic the way the original is. Doesn't have a lot to say the way the original does. Yeah, Snyder, Zack Snyder. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, Jeff Jacobson was our librarian at the Lisa McPherson Trust. And of course, he's got many sordid crimes in his past. And the folks on the street were just out there trying to find out what they are. Here we go. Come on.
Am I a criminal? Yes. What did I do? What did I do that's criminal? You are a criminal. I don't know. What did I do? That's a criminal. You're calling me a criminal. You're calling me a criminal, so what is the criminal thing I did?
Well, you're here demonstrating for no reason.
That's a constitutional right.
And do you take money from Minton? Do you smoke drugs?
No, I don't.
And do you take money from Minton to do what you're doing?
I'm hired by the Lisa McPherson Trust.
Exactly. Well,
that's a crime?
That's
a
money.
crime? Wait. That's a crime?
Blood money. That's blood money.
So you're calling me a criminal because I work for the Lisa McPherson Trust.
You are a criminal.
And that's a crime.
Yes, that's a crime because you take money from a criminal.
I'm a criminal because I work for the Lisa McPherson Trust.
Yes, you are a criminal.
Sure.
You are. Oh, and her friend, the
definition of a
Crims.
criminal.
Hi, guys.
The
Crims.
Crims?
Yeah. Do you pay taxes on the money that he pays you?
Well, oh my God, they're talking about paying taxes?
I pay
A criminal,
taxes. Yeah.
a criminal cult that doesn't pay
Yes.
taxes?
That is Patricia Greenway, the producer of The Prophet.
For God's sake. See
You
what they
are
do?
criminal.
This is a
You are
Scientologist.
That's right, an MOTA.
This is called bull baiting, but they're
Yes.
very, very bad at it.
You guys coming out and yelling at us demonstrates what you guys
Well,
really like.
you know, to me, what this just indicates is that there's just more crimes there that you guys have not got off. That's all. That's what I see.
Well, that's Hubbard's belief.
Well,
that anyone
yeah,
who's a
but
critic
it's
is a
different.
criminal.
Hey,
But
but
it
Jesse,
isn't true.
Jesse,
Look at me.
Jesse,
Look at me. Look at me.
Hey,
Look at me.
Jesse, he's your executive.
Am I a criminal?
That's right.
Am I a criminal?
yes,
What's my
Jesse
crime?
is like your number two.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He says
He's your
all
number
critics
two
are criminals.
What about
Okay,
your
I'm a
taxes
critic.
there, Jeff?
What
It's
about
like
my
committing
taxes?
crimes. Committing crimes. All right.
Okay, tell me
Get
about my
your
taxes.
data
Wait a
straight.
minute. Wait a minute. He's accusing me.
Are you helping to cover up for Jesse on this drug
accusing
thing?
me of cheating on my
Are
taxes?
you helping?
Is that what you're
Are
doing?
you helping to cover up
That's
for
got to
Jesse
be
on
what it is.
this?
Are you helping
This
to
is
cover
Joe
up
Neal.
Jesse's
This is
thing?
Joe Neal now.
You're
You're
helping
Wait a
to
minute.
cover
Are you
up
helping
Jesse.
to cover up on
No. You're accusing
Yeah,
me of something right
okay.
Yeah, I am. You're
now. Of being a tax dog.
covering up for Jesse.
That's got to
Are
be
you
what it is.
accusing me of being a tax dog?
You're covering up for
Are
Jesse.
you
See, now
covering
this
up
is
for
not a
Jesse?
conversation because
Are you
Right, it's
covering
got
up
it.
for
You're
Jesse?
covering up for
he
Jesse.
Yeah.
refuses to
Admit it.
discuss what I'm trying to say and just sticks on one point.
You know,
That's
Well, there you go. Calling Jeff a criminal, for God's sakes. As Johnny says, pot meat kettle. We saw there an unpleasant woman that I'm going to be called to chat to. We're not going to go to that just yet. I've got some other folks who were involved with the trust at some point. I think the first one we see here is Bob Peterson, who was our office manager. And then there's another fellow who I think was just a local. And there's a guy with sunglasses whose name is Randy Enerson. Randy would come to town occasionally and protest with us. And one time he came in with a magical device called the Threep. And I mention that now because I was just capturing all the footage of the debut of the Threep just the other day. And the Threep is a device that he felt that we needed with the injunction, meaning that the Scientologists are supposed to stay 10 feet away from us, and we're supposed to stay 10 feet away from them. So he put a fishing pole together with some bells and whistles on it. actual bells, at least. And so you could actually show the Scientologist approaching you how far they had to stay away with just holding out the fishing pole with the injunction at the end of it. Anyway, that's just a little background. You'll see Randy in his sunglasses shortly. And let's take a look at this. Here we go.
Because I'm asking you a question. That's why. I'm just asking you a question.
Bob Peterson on the right there.
In a strange land. Why don't you just answer the question? You owe this money, pay it back. Are you going to pay it back? Are you going to pay it back? Pay it back. Listen, you're the don't change the subject. You're
That's not the sunglasses guy I was referring to. Randy is over at the corner right now.
the office manager. You got to answer the question. That's the law.
I don't even answer my email.
You don't answer anything. Why should I? Because you're on marijuana. You're on marijuana.
There's no conscience or nothing in this. You didn't even know the word.
Scientology's conscience.
You know, well, it's already been the court, man. She died of it. It was a blood clot, you know.
You ever see the autopsy pictures of her?
Those, you a pervert? Those pictures were done hours after she was dead. I mean,
Where did all those bruises come from in those incident points?
Those things, those bodies.
Peterson likes to mail anonymous mail around with bomb threats and things like that.
Bomb threats?
Yeah. Are you the one doing all those mailings? Come on, tell the truth.
What I want to know is why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, why are you doing this? Because you're not even a Scientologist.
I don't know anything against Scientologists.
Well, that's not Randy Enerson either. He's the next one that we see. This is one of the locals that was protesting with us.
You seem like a real nice guy.
So why are you doing this then? If you're not even a Scientologist, never have been a Scientologist, you think I'm a nice guy, why are you doing it?
Because I happen to be opposed to the Church of Scientology.
Based on what?
But yeah. Opposed to the Church of Scientology. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, what is the Church of Scientology?
What, $5,000 a month, $4,000 a month, $6,000
Then the
a
big
month?
question is, what have you done? Why are you doing
Why
this?
have I done anything?
What have you? What's your crime?
I'd like to know what your
What crimes have you committed?
Exactly.
How come I've committed a crime?
I don't know. Why have you committed a crime? Of course you have. Just give it up. Just give it up. What crimes have you committed?
I haven't committed a crime. I'm actually
You
peacefully
don't-
walking
you
along the
don't-
sidewalk
you're
here.
Peacefully walking along the sidewalk and you're being paid for it.
I hate to break the news to you, buddy, but I haven't been paid a dime.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
Haven't got a
You
dime.
have no axe to grind with Scientology. You know nothing about Scientology. You're being paid to do this.
Paid.
There's no other reason for it. You have no other reason for it. You're wasting your time. You could be doing something constructive or something that you enjoy doing.
Well, you've been asking me
Instead,
all
you're
these
doing
questions.
this.
My turn to ask a question. Do you think it's possible that somebody could be a good person and not be a Scientologist? I mean, like your parents,
Yeah.
were they Scientologists?
No.
Were they good people?
Sure.
Were they criminals?
No.
There you go.
They weren't anti-Scientologists either.
So it's not possible to be anti-Scientology and be a good person.
It's probably not possible to be anti-Scientology, actively attempting to harm Scientology, and not have something in your background that you'd like to hide, which
I want to know what your crimes are.
Hey, look, it's Randy Enerson.
I want to know what your crimes are.
What are your crimes?
I don't have any. I want to know what
I
your
don't have
crimes
any
are.
either.
Oh, come on. You
We
gotta
don't-
have.
I don't have a single
Yeah,
one.
you gotta have
tax
crimes.
evasion, little tax evasion.
Maybe a little perversion on the internet.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
He's
like
getting
the
around
kiddie
to it.
porn.
He's
The
getting
kiddie
around to it.
porn, is that what it is?
How do you know about that stuff?
Now, see, that's
Well, it's
what
probably
he's
drugs.
into.
Is that what's on the
Probably
internet?
Either that or drugs.
Is that what's on the internet?
It's got to be drugs. I
Well,
don't know. I
see,
haven't seen
really
it,
kind
but
of.
you look like a
I
drug guy.
think we hit a sore nerve here. Was this?
I think you
You
probably
know,
said
the
it.
kiddie
You
porn.
know, you don't believe it.
You know, if you,
Tell me about
if you
OTs.
really, if
Tell
you
me about
really
OTs.
got in your ethics,
Tell us
you
about it.
you
You're the
could
guy
actually
with the
probably
sign.
find
I'm
a
asking you.
decent
Tell me.
woman.
You got the sign.
Can you tell me about
he's
the
never
You don't
even
have a
been
sign. You got the sign. You
Scientologist.
talk about it.
If there was any
You're the one
OTs
with
here,
the
we wouldn't be
crimes.
here, would we? You just postulated some, right?
Oh, places you are when you don't have any bubble gum. Anyways,
That's about as nutty as it gets.
Oh,
That's pretty
boy.
crazy.
This
guy has never even been in Scientology, but you saw that read on the kiddie porn. You've been into the kiddie porn, haven't you?
You think so?
Yeah, you've been into the kiddie porn.
Well, you're just making up all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no, I can tell. It's like, you know.
He and I had no idea there was kiddie porn on the
Oh,
internet.
yeah. You're into the
You
kiddie
sound
porn.
like you have first-hand knowledge of this.
You're so much into the internet, you've got to.
You sound like you got first-hand knowledge of this. You knew something about what was there.
Because it's like, you're the one who told me you did all this research on the internet, so that's got to be where you...
Well, I was researching Scientology on kiddie porn, and you were the first one to enlighten me. There's kiddie porn there.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have known that until you told me.
Right. What other perversions are you into?
Talking with you.
Oh, yeah?
I consider that a perversion, don't you?
No.
What are you trying? What have you done? Like cheating on your tax base? Cheating on your wife?
Hardly.
Hardly. Do you have a wife?
She would cut my tail off.
Well, that's
Hey,
good. And we have a
question for
phone
you.
on here.
I
Yeah.
think it's possible.
So I had not seen this German woman that's talking to this fellow before Ursula came to town, but she was at the airport and she was at the Mad Picket. So we saw her coming out and taking action just because Ursula was there.
For someone to be a good person and not be a Scientologist.
Sure.
Like maybe your parents, were they Scientologists?
No, unfortunately not.
But they were good people, right?
They actually still are. One of them is still are.
Okay.
Yeah, I would consider them. They have their mistakes, you know, little things that could be improved. So, yeah, they're good.
I'm probably a lot like that.
Oh, I doubt that, mister. I really doubt that. So you hang around on the internet a lot? Watch some kids porn?
I liked it when traffic went through downtown. There always was a lot of traffic to be there to witness these protests. Now it's all closed off. It's one of the wacky things that Clearwater did over the decades. They decided they're going to reroute all the traffic away from downtown going to the beach. So, of course, that did not help the downtown. The downtown was already dead and deserted because of Scientology. But then to reroute all the traffic so we never even have to glance at downtown did not help at all. And now, of course, after COVID struck at the beginning of my term in office, we voted to block off 2 of the blocks worth of Cleveland Street so that the restaurants could put out tables outside and have customers safely eating their meals out in the open air. And that has remained the case. But, you know, let's move. Let's make sure that nobody drives past the downtown. Did Render know any of these Scientologists? Asks 49er fan for life. Probably. I don't know which or who, but I'm sure that he was very familiar with all of these folks there who are major members of the SP League. They sure talk about kid porn a lot, especially this day. This day, that was a theme that I think Dr. Shillington brought to the game here. Johnny Meyer says, notice how Scientologists no longer use the attack tactic and are basically silent now. Yeah, that's because footage like this went on the web and made them look really stupid. Made them look kind of like a dangerous cult that's trying to hide something. And so the word went out, stop doing that. It took a couple of years. But I think, once they were told, don't talk in front of Bunker's camera, then it just kind of became, the policy. Let's try to keep this stuff off the internet. That tactic doesn't work today, says Johnny. Skyfire says, I'm sure that was just their generic attack line at the time. They were just really trying to get people to react. Yeah, that's bull baiting. They just say the most horrific things. That's the whole point of bull baiting. And Michelle says, yes, it did make them look so stupid. Mm-hmm. What's amazing is it took them a couple of years to realize that. And as Mary DeMoss told me in an email afterwards, that she had no idea when she was doing all this in front of my camera that it would be seen by anyone, anywhere, let alone all over the world. COB, I'd like to friendly meet. Tone 40 John Allender, no match for Beardman's kindly wisdom. How about that? All right. So who do we have coming up now? We're working through these. Oh, Maureen O'Keefe. So Maureen lives in Clearwater. When I was arrested in Chicago, outside the Chicago org, trying to interview the two dentists who sat down to tell their story about being defrauded by Scientology. When I was arrested, Maureen was there. She's one of the witnesses that whose name is mentioned in the arrest report, which I had blown up. I don't know where it is right now. It's folded up somewhere, probably, I think in a closet. But I used to have a big blow up of it that was used as an exhibit in the trial. And then I had that in my editing bay when I was a video editor at KUSI TV. And I was there for like 3 years, and that had been up in my editing bay all that time. Just as I was taking a job at another station in town, one of our anchors found out that I knew something about Scientology, which I was not shy about talking about. And she came in right at the end saying, "Oh, you know something about Scientology? I want to do a special on that." And she convinced the station, which is an independent station, it's family owned. She convinced them to give her an hour's worth of time in the evening to do a Scientology special. And they flew in Dr. Stephen Kent, or Professor Stephen Kent, rather. They actually met him up in LA. They flew him in there, and then they went up from San Diego up to interview him there for it. And they had other things that they were preparing for it. And this anchor told me that she was freaked out because Scientologists were following her and her kids around. So that was a little unsettling. Taking pictures of her and of the kids. And eventually the TV station said, "No, we're not going to do this." They were getting so much pressure from Scientology that they pulled the plug on it, even though they had spent enough money on it. And because I was moving to the other station, Fox 6, as she was starting this, I had an arrangement with the other station that I could assist them in putting together this special. So, it's a shame that didn't come forward. But when I was at Fox 6, the assistant news director of that station became a big fan of mine. He found my YouTube channel, and I'd be sitting in an editing bay cutting a piece for the evening news, and I could hear him playing my videos and laughing about them. And he wanted to do a sweeps piece on it. A couple times during the year, it's sweeps time, and the stations always take a little extra time to do a longer sweeps package. Instead of just a minute and a half for a news story, they'll give you maybe 5-6 minutes. And he wanted to do one on Scientology, so I helped him put that together. And we brought in Tori to do an interview for that. And then I edited that piece and fit in some of my own footage into it. For people protesting and things. And it was interesting because this was the first time I was inside a TV station while the pressure was put on. And Scientology was calling constantly, emailing. They even showed up at the door. They refused to do an interview for it. And we said, well, we're doing it anyway. So the piece was going to run at like 10 o'clock that night. And at like 7 or 8 or so, the head of the San Diego org came over to the station, was outside the gate saying, I'll do an interview, which really pissed off the reporter, because that meant he had to rewrite everything and drop a lot of stuff he had already put into the package. But they insisted on being part of it at the last moment. But it was interesting to see just how hard they try to stop something from going on air from the inside. I know they do it, but to witness it, something pretty exciting. So Maureen was there in Chicago, and she's now a power broker in a Scientology neighborhood, convincing other Scientologists not to talk to Council Member Bunker or Vice Mayor Bunker, who was there to help them bring safety to their neighborhood. No, you can't talk to him. He's an SP. And here she is.
So, Maureen, how are you?
We're going to do an on-camera interview?
Maureen, you know what you need to do.
So,
where is he here?
Are you trying to take a...
Have you been not paying your taxes?
There's a fellow who loves you in our office.
What do I need to do?
Bob Peterson. You need to talk to Bob Peterson. He's got such a
Mark, so the question I have is this. Is the Lisa McPherson Trust going to do anything effective about Jesse Prince doing drugs?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'd like to know.
You know, I don't think that I speak for the trust at all about this.
I understand you can't.
What happens, there's a legal situation.
We'll take your own personal opinion.
You're as a paid staff member.
Yeah.
Oh, we did something effective. We proved that Scientology set him up.
As a paid staffer, I'm just asking your opinion. Now, I understand you're not an officer.
Here. I mean, I'm certainly not asking you what Church of Scientology is going to do about the fact that you had two off-duty police officers arrest me on the...
So I know.
Answer your question.
So I know that you're a master. I know that you're a master of trying to answer a question with a question. Okay. Yeah. There's that smile. You can't see it, but I got it. Yeah. So now listen.
But Scientology never answers any question.
Can you answer my question?
Which is?
I'll try and make it. Let me break it down for you simply.
I don't believe.
Just a little simple. Let me break it down for you. And then, okay. So, do you agree with drug use?
I've never used any drugs myself in my life. I've never seen Jesse use any illegal drugs.
Good. So, do you disagree with drug use? And that's good.
Not necessarily.
And that's good. Okay. So how about illegal drug use? Not medical drugs, obviously, or something that's going to need a person needs in order to get better.
Personally, I'm speaking for myself. I don't even give my cats catnip. But if somebody wants to use drugs, I'm not that concerned about it.
Okay. Well, if someone, an executive vice president of your corporation, were using drugs as a staff member, isn't that something that you would be concerned about?
I don't know anything about this. There's
a
legal case going on, and I'm not going to discuss it.
I'm not asking for your opinion about the legal case. I'm asking you, as a staff member.
You're asking me opinions because you've got a camera rolling here, and you want to take this back and use it in court.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I came to ask you a question because you started filming me. So I figured while we're on film, I'll ask you a question.
And I've answered. Jesse's situation is a legal situation. We'll see what happens with it.
Good. So now we're not talking about Jesse's situation. I'm still trying to get an answer to my question of, as a staff member of the Lisa McPherson Trust, just a staff member, okay?
I want to know about your arrest in Chicago, Mark. Tell me about, see, he went away on that one real quick. Tell me about your arrest in Chicago. Please tell me about your arrest in Chicago.
By the Church of Scientology.
Oh boy, now he's going to blame it on the Church of Scientology.
I need to find out an answer to this question about drugs.
Well, no, he wants to know about the Chicago.
But you were talking to me, right?
Oh,
You're talking to me, right?
Oh, is he blowing for your conversation? I'm sorry.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Ian Schilling.
Hi, Ian. Maureen. I am a parishioner of the Church of Scientology and have been practicing for 22 years. Stop lying. Yes. Yes.
Don't you think you should stop the criminal abuses of Scientology?
The criminal abuses are your opinion. My job and my responsibility as a Scientologist, right? Can you get that thing any closer? Is to ensure that the technology of L. Ron Hubbard is applied and to use the system to correct it when it's not. And I do that.
I see.
I do that.
So
100% of the time. So why is it that I can take responsibility for my organization? My question goes back to, why won't you take responsibility for yours? That's my question. Pretty soon we're going to mug shots for all of you. Come on. You know what I mean? Come on, Mark.
Continue to set up people, yes.
I know everything you have is an excuse, right?
Versions. Don't try to, listen, don't try to bring change the subject about your perversions at all and your kitty porn. You know, if you don't listen, you're the only one keeping the kitty porn. You won't even tell me.
I love women scream for me.
I know you do. I know you do. She wants to talk to you down there. Cheryl, down there. What's your name?
Mark Bunker.
Mark Bunker. How long have you been taking pictures, Mark?
How long have I what?
Been taking pictures.
Been taking pictures?
Yeah.
Well, I've been covering Scientology like this for a little more than a year.
This woman's name is Cheryl Festa, and she's a hairdresser in town. And you could tell from her appearance that, oh my God, she knows something about hair. And apparently is an OT8, and for some reason she had to talk to me and share this important little exchange. What a waste of time. Here we go. Oh, let's bring it back there. Oop.
So you just like to do something like this?
No, I believe that Scientology is a group that commits a lot of crimes and fraud.
What do you
and I
do?
tried to document exactly what Scientology does.
What have you done?
What are my crimes, you mean?
Yeah, just what have you done?
I've called Hubbard a lunatic charlatan, and that's outraged the Church of Scientology.
God, really?
Isn't that terrible?
Well, you know, you're probably a little ignorant, I would imagine.
Well, that's certainly your opinion. You're welcome to that opinion, but you don't know me. You're just making that assessment.
I don't know you?
You don't know me, do you?
No, do you know me?
And yet you call me ignorant. Yes, but I haven't called you names.
You don't know, how do you know L. Ron Hubbard?
I've read much of what he's written and much about his life.
Okay, good.
So,
Then I am founded to call you ignorant.
Okay, thank you.
Why you leave it?
I went down there to talk to her, and all she did was insult me.
No.
I'm sorry, I like that. No. Well, you know, I wish Cheryl the best. I hope that her salon is still up and running, and she's making everybody look just as fabulous as she looked. Man, I'm rude. I am so rude. Speaking of rude, let's get back to Bub. This is Bub kind of approaching me with the basic setup.
Let them do it to you.
Hi.
Will you please not touch the camera?
You pushed it in my face, asshole.
Uh-huh. Does the phrase, let them come to you, make any sense to you? Do you remember somebody telling you that at the last picket?
Sure looks like he's shaking there with his eyes the way he's moving.
What's Minton paying you? What's Minton paying you? What's he paying you?
Now I'm supposedly blocking the sidewalk.
Will you please not touch the camera?
You pushed it in my face, asshole.
Uh-huh. Does the phrase, let them come to you, make any sense to you? Do you remember somebody telling you that at the last picket?
What's Minton paying you? What's Minton paying you? What's he paying you?
Okay, we're getting toward the end here. You got two biggies yet, because we got a grand finale that you'll of course want to stick around for. But let's see some more of Dr. Shillington.
Your boss, Jesse.
What happens to your commitment to this? Commitment money dries up.
Can we start off that conversation where we were before? I want to know what's happening to you up in Chicago. You said, when's the trial going to be? When's the trial going to be?
So have any of these folks left? I don't know about these folks specifically, but you did see Mary DeMoss earlier. She left. She felt that she was abused by critics and by Scientology, and she wants nothing more to do with it. I had one conversation and email exchange with her, but that was it. The rest of these folks, I don't know. I have not. Well, let's see. Have I seen Ian Shillington for a while? I think I've seen him in passing more recently than this, but for the most part, I'm not seeing people in the street the way we used to during these videos. There we go.
I'm not sure.
What were you accused of?
I was accused of criminal trespassing even though I was on a public sidewalk.
Criminal trespassing. And now, why would a policeman charge you with criminal trespassing?
Because they were paid by the Church of Scientology.
I don't think so. Hey, I don't think so. Come on, real fess up here. What were you doing? What were you really doing? What were you really doing?
They were paid $300, and they were sitting inside the org for a couple hours before we arrived. And Scientology was whipping them into a frenzy about how dangerous I am and how I'm there to cause trouble, when I was just there to do a little bit of interview on video. So I don't think so is wrong. So is what it was.
Because the police aren't going. The police are not going to arrest you, all right, for trespassing on a public sidewalk. No, they won't. So come on, fess up. I want to know, what did you do in Chicago? What were you really arrested? What were you trespassing for?
I was interviewing two people who were defrauded by the Church of Scientology
And
out of $100,000.
No. Come on. I want to know about the trespassing. Tell me about the trespassing. Tell me about the trespassing.
You're going to hear a lot.
Come on, tell me about the trespassing.
Doctor, you're not willing to accept anything that I'm saying.
That's because you're feeding me a crock. Why don't you tell me about, really tell me about the trespassing. You were guilty of trespassing, right?
No.
Oh, come on. They wouldn't have charged you. The police aren't going to levy trespassing against you unless you're somewhere you shouldn't have been. Come on, Mark, fess up. You were guilty of trespassing, right?
Doctor, are you saying that Mary Sue Hubbard...
Come on. Oh, now you're going to change the subject. You're going to change the subject again. You're going to change the subject again. Here comes the subject change, folks.
I can't get your links to work to download from the LMT website.
From which ones?
The main page where it says download, where it says like Magoo in Boston.
You know what you need to do, Maureen? You need to upgrade to the newest Real Player 8, because I'm using the new Real Producer 8.
Real Player 8.
I want to know, on your computer, you got a computer over there, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, on your computer, how many pieces of porno do you have on that computer? None? Can you?
Well,
all right.
Unless you consider Hubbard.
Would you? Oh, that's very sarcastic. Yes. Okay. Now, would you be willing to walk me in there right now and show me what's on your computer to prove what you just said?
Well, I'm going to need some protection with me, but.
I'm just so much bigger than you, Mark.
Doctor, you're unwilling to.
Come on, let's go there right now, you and me. Come on, you and me, and we'll see if there's any porno on you. I want to see if there's any porno on your computer. I'd be willing to bet that there is right now. I think I got $20 in there that says that you got porno on there. Can we go in there and see your computer right now?
Nigerian loot.
Oh, you're Nigerian. You want to get into that? You really want to get into Minton's Nigerian loot? Right. We already know that there's criminal prosecutions being set up for that already. How much about you? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you do. Okay. So anyways, let's go in and take a look at your computer right now, Mark.
Well, if I can find somebody to come along with us, yes.
Okay. Hey, would you be willing to come along with him?
You believe real strongly.
Would you be willing to come along with him?
Come along with him where?
He wants to take me into the
Dr.
LMT.
Shillington is demanding to look at my computer to see if there's any pornography on it.
Right. So he wants to take me over to LMT. You want to go with him? But he's afraid to go with me by himself. So are you willing to be you can be his guide.
I would go with him.
You can be his
No,
guardian,
I'm concerned about what he might say once we get in there, like I'm forcibly deprogramming.
Oh, I see. Well, all right. So are you willing to come and be his witness? Sir? Are you willing to come and be his witness?
How are you, Spence? Haven't seen you in a long time.
Are you sure it's not the child pornography you're worried about?
I still don't understand why it is.
Spencer, do you think there's child pornography on my computer?
I think you're probably smart enough to store it on a bunch of zip drives or something.
You're talking again, Spencer. What happened? You haven't been allowed to talk to us for like 8 months.
No, come on, Mark. I want you to prove me wrong. I mean, we already know that you condone drugs, all right? So now let's handle this pornography thing, okay? You can prove me wrong. Let's do this. Take me into LMT and prove me wrong. Come on, Mark. Let's go.
I think it would be a safety risk to go in there with you.
Oh, come on. You can take 3 of your guys in there. Take Jeff. He's a tough guy. Jeff is tough, man. Take Jeff with you.
On the training side.
So Johnny's asking about Nigerian loot. I will not go into that now because we've been talking for over 2 hours. And Nigeria story is a huge one. I've captured all the video for that, and I'll put together something that shows you all about how they set up Bob Minton and got his money frozen, claiming that he was raiding Nigeria's coffers. Not true at all. There was a selfish motive from each and every one of them defending the church. Yeah, oh yeah, they got to strike an effective blow. So we've had a lot of fun tonight, but it's all building to this moment that everyone's been waiting for. We have, for the first time in 4K, 60 frames a second, beautiful image quality of Paris Morphopolis insulting me. Here we go. Let's watch it.
So until you lose some weight, get the hell away from me. You know? Are you on your 50 Twinkie a day habit now, or what? If you can't control your eating habits, Mark, what about your sexual habits? Where do they run to? Small children? Huh? Animals? What is it, small barnyard animals? What does it for you? Little boys? I told you I don't want to be videotaped by you.
Then why approach me on a public street?
Because I want you to get the hell out of here.
Well, I'm getting the hell out of here right now.
You're a professional bigot. Have you ever held any other worthwhile employment?
Yes, I'm a failed actor. Haven't you heard?
A failed actor?
Yeah.
Okay. And a Twinkie consumption expert or what?
Well, the failed actor is because they had a website up, one of the Scientology smear sites where they were talking about the fact that Mike Tevye was very entertaining. Clearly, he has some talent, but he's spending all of his time attacking religions. Not religions. I'm attacking the dangerous organization called Scientology. Anyway. So there you go. We got to leave it on a high there with Paris. Paris, I would ultimately work with on the Downtown Development Board in Clearwater. He was the chairman of the board of the DDB. And one of the first things I did when I got elected to the council was say, I would like to serve on the Downtown Development Board. And the Scientologists came in and were saying the most horrific things to me, saying you can't put this Nazi on the board with us. And it was be like the KKK, whatever. But I was on the board, and for some reason, all the Scientologists who were on there did not like me mentioning the word Scientology, and they made all sorts of rules to try to stop me from saying it. And ultimately, by the end of my 4 years on the board, we shut it down. And the council took over the duties of the Downtown Development Board, which evolved into almost entirely Scientologists. And, the big problem downtown is Scientology. These are the folks in the best position to do something about it. And would they? No, they wouldn't even let the word be said in a meeting. Anyway, that's it. We've had fun. We've had a wonderful time, haven't we, here in the wee hours of the morning? What's this? Swedish Lena says you could just join COS and get auditing and a floating needle, and it's all good. Yeah, it's true. All I have to do is get on the cans and confess all of my crimes and rat out everybody that I've worked with for the past 25 years. Johnny Meyer, that was nuts. Mark, you always maintain your composure. My hat's off to you. You showed them in the end, getting elected. Cheers. Well, cheers to you. Thanks. And also Parks and Recreation to you. Thanks for all you do, Mark. You rock. Bye, says SP Never Ends in Artology. Thank you, Kelly. You have a lovely night. And Michelle, thank you. Thanks for coming by. And listen, even Kelly loved it. That was a great stream. Thanks, Mark, she says. Well, thank you, Kelly, for all the work you do as my mod. I really appreciate everything that you do. That's what she said. Ask, what strategy would you take when surrounded by them? Well, my strategy was just to be polite. There's one instance where they did surround me and grab me, and that was a little scary, and I should not have been out on L. Ron Hubbard Boulevard by myself. I thought my camera would protect me, so I did learn from that. But by and large, I mean, nothing's ever happened. Swedish Lena, thank you so very much. Looking forward to seeing you again very soon. I should be back tomorrow night. I've got some stuff already lined up for it, and I'll see you all then. But for now, for God's sakes, it's been 2 hours and 11 minutes of brilliance, but we have to draw this to a close. So I thank you all for stopping by. Come on back again, and I will see you then. All right? Thanks, everyone, for coming along.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.